The expert in anything was once a beginner. Hello and welcome to episode 333 of Namaste Yoga. Today is a complete beginner yoga class. So I have a couple of testimonials for us to start today so that you know you're in the right spot. This is one from Elizabeth via YouTube on our beginner yoga how to do sun salutation class, which was Namaste Yoga 294. And she said, I love this very clear explanation of a popular series of poses. Excellent adaptations suggested for various possible levels. Sun salutations can be intimidating, in my opinion, for the beginner. Melissa showed me how to start with confidence and patiently practice to improve. And Stacy said, just finished this class and my whole body feels amazing. I can really feel the improvement in my circulation and in my joints, as you said. I've struggled and powered through a couple of rounds of sun salutations before, but this step-by-step approach made it much easier for me to keep up and fully receive the benefit of sun salutations. I think I might make this a regular part of my practice. One of my favorites of your classes, Melissa. Thank you. So thank you to Stacy and Elizabeth for your testimonials. I really appreciate it when you leave your comments on YouTube, Facebook, on Instagram, on my website, in our membership community, or on SpeakPipe in my website. It's always great to hear from you. So thanks to Squeeze Yoga Clothing for my clothes. Today I'm wearing a red bamboo long sleeve hoodie, and I'm also wearing gray leggings. And thanks to Dusky Leaf for my props. I've got a yoga mat today. If you don't have a yoga mat, that's fine. You can do it on your floor. You are going to need a chair today for today's practice to help you with balance. And you're also going to need a chair for the inversion. Today we're going to do legs up a chair. So a chair and a mat, or if you don't have a mat, you can probably just do this on your floor or a soft surface, something that has a little bit of padding, and that'll be good. So before you do a yoga class, you need to just check in, know about what injuries you have, any medical conditions you have, and you need permission from your doctor to participate in a exercise program or a yoga program. So check in with your doctor and just see, are there any movements that will make my conditions worse, or are there any conditions that will make any movements that will make my conditions better? So just make sure that you check in with your doctor and see if there's anything that you shouldn't be doing if you have a medical condition or an injury, so that when you come to your first yoga class, you know if there's anything that you shouldn't be doing. So you are your own best teacher, and you need to be looking after yourself together with your doctor and making sure you're taking care of your own injuries and medical conditions in a yoga class. So I want to give you a preview of what to expect in today's class. We're going to start with a guided relaxation and centering. Now I'm going to go through this quickly just so that you can know what to expect and know if this is a class that's going to be doable for you. But rest assured, when we go through this class, I'll be showing you step by step, nice and slow, with lots of modifications all the way through. I just want you to know what's going to be happening and what's coming up all the way through the class so that there are no surprises. So we're going to start with a guided relaxation just to transition from the busyness of your day-to-day life. So that will look like lying on your back, probably with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. Then you'll have your arms out to the side and you'll go into some knee sways. And then you're going to come into a hip stretch that looks like that. And from there, we'll come up onto all fours. And you're going to do a pose called cat pose, where you'll be stretching out your spine. I'll give you lots of modifications for your wrists here. And then we're going to be coming to the part where we'll be using a chair. You're going to be doing a lunge pose, which you might use the chair for. And then we're going to come into Parsvottanasana. Again, you might use the chair for it. And then we're going to come up to standing. We're going to do, from standing, we're going to do chair pose to strengthen your legs. Then we're going to do tree pose, a balancing posture. And then we're going to come back down. You're going to use that chair again. We've got a chair up over on the rock up there. You'll use the chair and you'll have your legs up on the chair like this. And then from here, you'll be coming onto your stomach. And we'll do a little back bend for your back. So you'll be like this. And then you're going to come up to seated. And from seated, you're going to do a little twist like this. And then you're going to do a forward fold. And then you're going to lie down on your back. And I will talk you through how to do all these things. Okay, so that's what you can expect. So I'll get you started with a guided relaxation, and that is lying here on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. So when you lie down and place your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor, I'll get you just to press into your feet, tuck your tailbone under so that you lengthen out through your low back. And then tuck your shoulder blades under so that your shoulders rest on your ground. And then check in with your chin in your forehead and make sure that your chin, if your chin is way higher than your forehead, you want to just place a little cushion underneath your head so that the two are level, so that the back of your neck is long. Your palms will turn up beside you. So you're going to stay here, and I'm going to sit up and guide you through a guided relaxation here, just to transition you from the busyness of your day-to-day life into the single focus of your yoga practice here. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Let it fall out of your mouth. And take as many breaths like that as you need to arrive here now. And then breathe in and out through your nose. And just notice what's happening with your breath. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Let it fall out of your mouth. And tune into your physical body. Notice your feet, your legs, your hips, your low back, your belly, your upper back, your shoulders, your arms, your hands, your wrists, your neck, your shoulders, and your head. And from all of that, notice what stands out about your physical body. Take a deep breath in. Let it fall out of your mouth. Become aware of your thoughts. What's on your mind right now? And take a deep breath in. Let it fall out of your mouth. Notice how you're feeling, what emotions are present right now. And then bring all of that together. Your breath, what stood out about your physical sensations, your thoughts, your emotions, and begin to form an intention of what you would like to receive from this yoga class. So why are you here? What would you like to receive from taking this yoga class today? And then stay lying on your back and with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. Take your arms out to the side. You can take your feet about hip width apart or a little bit wider. And you're just going to sway your knees from side to side. And this is just going to release and lubricate your hip joints. And it should feel nice in your low back as well. Keep breathing. And then come back to the center and take your right ankle, cross it over the top of your left thigh, open your right knee out to the side, and from here you're going to draw your left knee in towards your chest. Keep your left knee fully bent. And you're going to reach through the space between your right knee and hold on behind the back of your knee. And if you can't reach there, you can take a yoga strap. I'm actually going to move down because my head is on the rocks there. So if you can't reach, you can either take a yoga strap or you can take the strap from your bathrobe and use that to help you reach through. And then release this leg down. And you're going to place your right bent knee on the ground. Cross your left ankle over the top of your right thigh. Open your left knee out to the side. Draw your bent right leg in towards your chest until you feel something happening on the outside of your left thigh and into your left buttocks. And you can reach through and hold on the back of your right hamstring, the back of your right thigh. Or if you can't reach, you're going to use the strap from your bathrobe, or if you have a yoga strap, you can use that and use that to draw your leg in. So this pose is great for releasing your piriformis muscle. That's your tight glute muscles, your tight buttocks, which gets tight from sitting, but also from just being a human being, walking, running, going up and down stairs. So your glutes, your buttock muscles get tight from being active, but also from being inactive. And so this is an important stretch to do. Important stretch in yoga. And this pose is called sleeping pigeon pose, so it's already a modification of a yoga pose. Okay, you're going to release that down, and from here put your strap off to the side if you're using one and roll to the side, and you're going to come up onto all fours. And on all fours we're going to do a stretch for your spine. You're going to release your spine, and I'm going to see if I can put my hat back on so I don't get sunstroke. You're going to start here with your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. So let me give you some modifications for your wrists. One would be to come up onto your fists. That will keep your wrists nice and straight so your wrists aren't in a flex position. The other would be to come down onto your forearms. So either of these positions will work well. What we're going to be doing here is exhaling and rounding up through your back, and then inhaling and arching through your back. Breathe out and round through your back, and breathe in and arch through your back. So you can do this, as I said again, on fists. That works really well if you have wrist issues. Or you can also do it on your forearms. So try and see what works best for you in your body today. Okay, so from here we're going to do some lunge pose, or Anjaneyasana as we call it in yoga. It'll open up the fronts of your hips, and I'm going to show you a modification with a chair. So we're going to move to where we have a chair. Okay, so for lunge pose, I'm going to show you a couple of modifications. One is your knees can feel a little bit tender on the ground, so I've rolled up the mat here for extra padding. You could put down a blanket underneath your knees that would help cushion your knees as well. You're going to come up onto your knees, and you're going to start by walking your left leg through. And then you can use the chair for balance. So here you're opening up the front of your right hip. And this is great because we spend a lot of time sitting like this in chairs, and it really shortens our psoas muscle here. And so this pose opens up your psoas muscle. So using the chair really helps with balance here. And then you're going to curl your back right toes under and straighten out both your legs. So now you're in standing forward folding triangle or pyramid pose, and you're using the chair here, which creates a modification. Instead of having your hands on the ground, makes this a whole lot simpler for opening up the muscles along the backs of your legs, your calves, and your hamstrings, which tend to get quite short. So for lengthening these as a beginner, using the chair really modifies this pose up for you. This is a great pose for your hamstrings and your calves. And then we'll come back down and do this on the other side. So bend your knees, and we'll switch sides. So this time you'll have your right leg walking forward, and then lean forward until you feel an opening in the front of your left hip, using the chair for balance. And then from here, we're going to curl your back toes under, and you're going to straighten out both your legs. And you can bring your back foot in as much as you need to as well, depending on how tight your hamstrings are, your calves are. So we just did this huge long hike on Saturday, and my calves are still really tight from this. So I could bring my feet closer together. I could shorten this gap, and that would also make it easier. So you can play around with the distance between your legs as well. So if you wanted to make it more challenging, you could increase the distance between your legs as well, or shorten it. So see what works best for you and your body today. And then you're going to come all the way up to standing. We're going to do a standing pose to strengthen your legs, and then we'll do a balancing pose where we'll use the chair to help us with our balance. And then we're going to use the chair again for the inversion before we go back down to the beach. So we'll stand here. Stand with your feet underneath your hip bones and bring your arms straight out in front of you. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, and you're going to sit back as though you're sitting down into a really low chair. And you may want to put a cushion between your knees to create good alignment between your hips, knees, and your ankles. Sit back into your heels. And then slowly come up to standing, and you can shake out your legs. And from here, I think I'm just gonna come around to the other side of the chair. So you use the back of the chair for this one, I would say. And I'm just going to be really careful because there's a lot of broken glass around here. Okay, so at home you'd probably just be able to move your chair, but this is a little bit permanent. So I'm going to move around to the back of the chair, and you can use the chair for balance. So you're going to stand on your left foot, turn your right toes out to the side. I'm going to give you lots of options. The closer you keep your feet to the ground, the easier balance is going to be. You're going to find something on the ground that's not moving and focus on that. You can either keep your toes on the ground, you can hold on to the back of the chair for help with balance. You can take your foot off the ground and leave it below your knee, or you can pick it up and bring it above your knee, but just don't put it on your knee joint. You can hold on to the chair, the back of the chair for balance, or you can bring your hands to your heart center. And then again, the more challenging for the balance would be to take your arms overhead. But you could also hold on to the chair. So see what works best for you today in your body. Remember, you have that chair here for balance. You could maybe even try, you got 5 fingers on, 4, 3, 2, 1, none. So you can challenge yourself like that. And then we'll switch. So this time we'll stand on our right leg. Turn your left toes out to the side. And again, you can keep your toes on the ground if balance is a challenge. Or you can pick up your foot and keep it below your knee or above your knee, but not on your knee joint. And then you can bring your hands to your heart center or overhead. Remember, we've got the chair there to help you with balance if you need it. So this pose is for balance, to help you with balance. And then you can release that and bring your arms and legs down. and probably switch your chair around to configuration where you've got your mat perpendicular to this part of the chair. So I'm going to move my mat back around to the front of the chair. Okay, so you'll have your mat set up like this, and you're going to sit. I recognize that this chair is much higher than your chair is going to be, and that's totally fine. Don't worry about that. Your chair is probably going to be lower. So you're going to sit on the edge of your mat, and then you're going to swing around. This chair is so high. And place your oh my gosh, this, I feel like this is a giant chair. Okay, so this chair will meet you at your your knees, because it won't be elevated up on a on a brick or something like that. Okay, and you may even find that you'll want to put a blanket on your chair so that it, like I find when I do this at home, the chair is actually a little low. I also have very long legs, so and then it'll also make it softer and nicer for you too if you put a little blanket there. So trust me, this will work at home. You'll tell me in the comments this works just fine. So this pose is an inversion. It puts your head below your heart, and it elevates your legs. And it's really nice for your immune system. And it's very restorative, so it builds energy in your body. It's good for your adrenal glands. Okay, so we're just going to rest here and breathe here for a few breaths. You take a deep breath in through your nose. Let it fall out of your mouth. So this pose, if you're wondering why I didn't give a modification, it's because it is a modification for legs up the wall where your legs would have been straight. So that's not a great pose for people that have back issues because your legs are straight. So it modifies it by making your legs bent. So this just becomes safe for pretty much everybody. Okay, so we're going to roll to your side and make your way up to seated, and you can leave your mat here or move it back to its original space. Okay, so now you're going to come down onto your stomach for our back bend. So you lie down on your stomach and take your arms straight out in front of you and just wiggle your low back to create some space in your low back. And then from here, you're going to walk your elbows underneath your shoulders. So you'll feel a shortening in your low back, and it might feel like a little bit of pressure, but it shouldn't feel like anything sharp or shooting or electric. If it feels like that, then you need to come out. So this is a great posture to strengthen your upper back, build bone density in your upper back, and also to tonify your kidneys. So it's great for building energy. It's also where it builds energy in your adrenal glands as well. Because where you feel that pressure in your low back, that's where your adrenal glands are situated. So that's partly what we're doing with Sphinx pose. It's a posture that we often do at the beginning of a yin yoga class to build the energy that you need for your yoga class. So it's a nice little back bend that's great for a lot of reasons. And if you need to modify it, you can back off by bringing your elbows forward a little bit more. You can even take your elbows a little bit wider. Okay, so do what you need to make this pose work for you and your body, and you can always come out at any time, take a break. Okay, and then we're going to come out of this, so you can take your hands underneath your shoulders, push yourself up onto all fours, and draw your knees up underneath you. Sit back onto your heels with your arms forward. So this is child's pose. It will stretch out your low back. Now, if this bothers if you feel like your belly's getting in your way, you can open your knees. And if this bothers your knees or your ankles, you can lie on your back and hug your knees into your chest instead. And then you're going to slowly roll up through your spine and come up to a seated position. You're going to sit with your legs straight out in front of you. And if you find it difficult to sit with your legs straight up in front of you with your back straight because you roll onto the back of your pelvis and your back rounds, then get a cushion or a folded blanket to elevate your pelvis and sit on the edge of it, and that will allow you to sit with a flat back. From here, you're going to bend your right leg in, hold on to your right knee, wrap your left arm around it, turn towards it, take your right arm behind you, lengthen up through your spine for the twist. Now, this might be uncomfortable because your belly might get in the way here, so we've got an option for that. If that feels uncomfortable, then you can go to an open twist where you take your right arm to the inside of your right leg and twist open so that there's lots of space for your belly. And then come back to the center, open your right knee out to the side. And if your right knee is hanging way up in the air like this, then put a cushion underneath it so that it's supported. And if you're rolling back, like see I'm actually on a decline like this, then you want to sit up on a folded cushion or a blanket so that your pelvis is elevated. And then you're going to lean forward into a seated forward fold. So on this one, you're opening up the back of your leg again. So lengthening those tight hamstrings. Very calming for your mind as well. So let's do that sequence on the other side. So put both legs straight out again. Bend your left leg in. You're going to wrap your right arm around your left leg, turn towards it. Take your left hand to the base of your spine, lengthen up so you're in the twist. Now, if you find that way is uncomfortable because your belly gets in the way too much, then you can always modify it by doing an open twist, where you put your left arm to the inside of your left leg and you turn towards it. So that you're in an open twist and then there's lots of room for your belly. And it's easier to breathe. This could also be a good modification for large breaths too. And then come back to the center, open your knee out to the side. If your knee's hanging in mid-air because your hips are tight, fill that space with a cushion. Inhale here, exhale, and hinge forward. And then slowly come back up to seated. And you're going to lie down now for Shavasana. This slopes downward so much it's practically an inversion. Okay, so you're going to lie down on your back. And to come into Shavasana, this is a pose where you're going to be able to receive your practice, allow your body to receive what you've just done. So it's similar to how you started. You're lying with your legs out long, your palms turned up beside you. I'm going to get you to bend your knees, press into your feet, lengthen out through your tailbone, and rest your sacrum down on the ground again. If you have any low back issues, keep your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. If it feels comfortable, you can lengthen your legs out long. You're going to just take a moment to tuck your shoulder blades underneath you so that your shoulders are resting towards the ground. Check and see if your neck is long, if your chin and your forehead are on the same level. If your chin's way higher than your forehead, then you want to stick a cushion underneath your head to bring those two level. And you are going to stay resting here to receive the rest of your practice. And I will sit up and read you a poem while you are in Shavasana. This is a poem by Rumi, and if it resonates with you, then I'm happy. And if it doesn't work for you, then that will not hurt my feelings. You can just let it go. Be empty of worrying. Think of who created thought. Why do you stay in prison when the door is so wide open? Move outside the tangle of fear thinking. Live in silence. Flow down and down into always widening rings of being. Be empty of worrying. Think of who created thought. Why do you stay in prison when the door is so wide open? Move outside the tangle of fear thinking. Live in silence. Flow down and down into always widening rings of being. Gradually allow your breath to deepen. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bend your knees if they aren't already bent. And roll to your right side. Pause here for a moment. Use your left hand to push yourself up. And come up to a seated position. So thank you so much for joining us for episode 333 of Namaste Yoga. The hat keeps me from having sunstroke out here. If you liked today's show, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to our channel, subscribe. We put out a new show every Friday. And if you know somebody who would benefit from today's class, then feel free to share it with them. And I want to thank Victoria and Hillary for your donations. You can make a donation to our show right here. And if you would like to donate of your time, you can donate through the comments section. And I have a question for you to answer in the comments section. How are the modifications for you today? And were there any poses where you could have used better modifications? So I asked people on my Facebook page this week what they needed in a beginner's class when they come to, I would do in a beginner's yoga class I'm looking for, and better modifications was something that people asked for. So I tried to make sure there were lots of modifications, and in fact, in a lot of cases, I was doing just the modified versions of poses. So let me know how I did with modifications and where you thought I could have done better with modifications. I'd like to hear that in the comments. If you benefited from today's yoga class, beginner's yoga class, then we have over 30 more beginner's yoga classes, and then I will link to that in the show notes as well so that you can find those. I'm sending you much love from beautiful British Columbia. May your joy be as deep as our Pacific Ocean. May you be grounded as our trees in our forests, and may you be as strong as our mountains. Om Shanti. Namaste.
Melissa would love to hear your questions and thoughts. Please leave your comments below the video. Thank you for your reviews on iTunes and YouTube. Your reviews help us to share yoga and a yoga lifestyle with others around the world. If you have a question for Melissa, you can leave a voice message at melissawest.com, and Melissa may answer it in an upcoming blog.